Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War Reloaded on the Series X, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Act 4-6. It is entitled Entrenched. So we have an ambush here. There's a couple of ambushes on this chapter. I like to come up here and throw several grenades. Once that gate gets kicked down, you'll have about four enemies here. Now, my weapons here, I've got the Lancer and the Torque Bow, I believe. Yeah, I chose those weapons because it's a lot easier to deal with enemies that are close up to you if you've got like a Lancer as opposed to the long shot. You can still pull off close ranged long shot kills, but for me it's harder. So what I did was I went back a chapter, and I also made sure that I had it was for that reason that I went back, and I also went back to maximize my torque arrow count. So what I would recommend is to have as many torque rounds as you possibly can, because my strategy for the house ambush is going to require a lot of torque rounds. It's just one way of it not getting out of hand. And you've got to be really careful here, because any of these enemies that come into the room, especially the grenadiers, they can put you down with one shot of their weapon. So it looks like we've got some late spawners. Oh, this is what sometimes happens. I remember this now. Sometimes when you kill too many enemies, and I suppose you do so like the way we did it, where we killed a bunch of them in this area over here. Sometimes they dig in by the wine casks over here, because I believe, and you probably can't hear it, but I remember hearing it. You'll hear some growls from these locusts over here. See how he's hiding behind the wine casks? There's a symmetrical room on the other side that also has those wine casks, and he could have been on the other side as well. So if you don't see any enemies coming and you haven't got the slash over the objective, it's probably something like that. But now we've got a pair of wretches coming up at us, and you'll also have sometimes you'll also have another enemy hiding behind the casks. But traditionally what they do is you go up to about that doorway. You could do it on either side, because as I said, the rooms are symmetrical. And another reason another reason I like to start this chapter with the Lancers, because you can get a long shot and replace it in that room right there. So you're not really missing out on anything, because as you well know from having played this game, the regular ammunition boxes give ammunition for the long shots. So I believe we're done, aren't we? I'm just checking all my corners. And any ammunition or grenades that you pick up on your way down, they'll respawn on the way back up. So I didn't mention that last time. So if you are hesitant, or if you were hesitant to pick anything up, don't worry about it. You also get a checkpoint up here. I don't mind this room much, because it's just wretches. There's 9 wretches. And then there's also one enemy at the end who will spawn. I don't know if you try to leave the room and if he'll spawn. I'm not sure. Maybe you have to kill all of these wretches first. So you can use your handgun, whatever. If you got the snub or the bolt talk, you could use that, or you can simply just melee them with your weapon. But if there's too many of them too close, it can get out of hand. But if you stand back enough, you'll usually only have to fight them one at a time, but it can get to where they group up. And how did I know 9? Well, I remember I watched my previous video and I said 9, so if I said it, I probably was accurate about that, because I have spent a good deal of time in that room. So here he is right here. Getting kills like that is quite difficult. I rarely get frag grenade kills. I don't know what it is. If it is just my poor use of them, which is probably 90% of the truth, or if they're just not very effective as far as like detonating and things like that. Like, I truly get surprised when I see that I've got a grenade kill. I mean, enemies that are all clustered up and they're close, you throw a grenade, you see some bodies getting turned to chunks. That's not surprising, but just getting one kill from far away, it's not the easiest thing to do. So you're also going to get a checkpoint up here once you get up to the area outside of Marcus's room. So you're going to approach this area, and after about 20 seconds has elapsed, you'll hear the boomer down here. So what I like to do is get a couple of kills at first with the torque and maybe throw a couple of grenades. But remember, after about 20 seconds, you'll hear the roar of the boomer as he blows open the front door. And what I like to do is stand by one of these supporting posts over here and torque all of the enemies that come in. But it can be pretty difficult because sometimes, like, you go to charge the torque and enemies don't come. Like, you think you have a, like, in your mind, like the timing of when they come in, but the timing is completely random. And also, for some stupid fucking reason, the first Theron guard that you kill, if he drops a torque, and I say if because I believe sometimes they could just drop a Boltok, but if he drops a torque, it will, you might even see it in this video, but it'll disappear. And any subsequent Therons that drop torques, those ones will let you have the torque, but I don't know why that is like that. So you've got to do this rather quickly, but it's very effective at killing these enemies. So in walks the boomer. Now sometimes he gets stuck outside. His pathing will get him stuck, and you'll have to move around, maybe back up to the top floor, so that he can come in, because you do have to kill him for things to progress over here. And I thought everybody was killed, but there was one Theron left. So I'm not sure what happens if I waste an arrow over here. But I got complacent right there, and I missed him. Very but if you don't do that strategy, like, you can have a bunch of enemies all up here, and it can be very difficult. So I like to get on top of them as much as I possibly can. So if you do need a torque bow, I would redo the previous chapter. And if if you're sighing about that, and because some people balk about having to go back different chapters. I go back chapters all the time. Anytime I want a specific loadout, I don't mind, because it's worth it to me to bring the strategy that I want to the video that I'm showing. So I wouldn't balk about it. I mean, if you're going back and having to do a really long level, I can understand that, but these chapters are fairly short. You can get them done in 5 minutes. Oh, and then just like earlier when one of the doors was kicked open, the door that we have to go through, this guy kicked it open, and I believe it's another one of the grenadiers. So it's really ridiculous, because you do that huge fight, and then you're walking down, and if you didn't know what happens, he would probably kill you. You might get lucky and not get killed, but you're walking up to the door that you presume you have to go through. He kicks it open. He does growl and give you some notice, but you sometimes it's too much to ask to escape the blast of a shotgun in this game, the way the spread works. Oh, it wasn't a grenadier, but it doesn't matter, because it was a shielded enemy, helmeted enemy. So we should get that checkpoint insignia pretty soon. So now I'm looking around for torques. I did now, admittedly, I did pick up one of the drops. So these are all hammer bursts. And I don't know how many Therons were in that fight, but I do know, just for some stupid reason, the first Theron you kill, you can't get his torque. Didn't mean to do that. It snapped me into the door opening animation. Now one of these crates, the crate I'm running past right now, not the dresser that I'm jumping over, but the crate that was to its left, it does have some grenades. So how this part works is you need to shoot the propane tank or the boards to open the door. How the E-hole works is that it's on a certain timer, and it has no relation to killing an enemy. So if you do, well, I guess it does have a relation. If you kill one enemy, then the E-hole will always spawn. But even if you don't kill that enemy after a certain time has passed, regardless of if you've killed any enemies, that hole will spawn. And I believe it's right in the middle of that structure. So sometimes these enemies can be hiding directly below you, so you might have to leave. And I'll hit open the box that has the grenades over here. So starting on, well, I don't know if it started on the Ultimate Edition, but all the fighting that we just did, post that enemy kicking open the door, you have to do on the same checkpoint, including the running sequence at the end. But the Ultimate, to my knowledge, I know this for a fact, the Ultimate Edition and this edition, it has a checkpoint once you get to the next area, because it's basically a crapshoot if you're gonna make it to the end with all the boomers around. But I don't know for certain if the PC version, the game that the Ultimate Edition was based off of, pretty much, I don't know if that version has a checkpoint. But yeah, this is always nerve-wracking, but nerve-wracking it is no more, because you get a checkpoint over here. I died twice over here, and then I got it on my third attempt. But that would have meant me going through that previous section 3 times, and it would have been upsetting and frustrating. So they did put a checkpoint on here, and they even make you go quickly because there's a timer there. So not only do you have to survive, but if you're taking too long, it's gonna expire you out and kill you. But the thing is, since there is that timer, you might as well just try to make a mad dash to the end towards the APC, and that's horrible game design. You should never have to just make a mad dash anywhere, without any safety net. But I guess that's why they started to give you one on the Ultimate Edition, and they continue the trend on this version. So I appreciated that, because it was like in the original, they didn't have that checkpoint. So shame on them for doing that. But that is the conclusion of Act 4, and the next video will be the first video of Act 5, the 5th and final act. So I will see you there presently, and until then, please continue to take care.